Hello, dear participants, dear colleagues. Indeed, after Sergei's and Natalia's presentations, there is not much to it, but I will maybe try to elaborate a little bit on some of the issues around innovative financial products. Let me start sharing my screen with a brief presentation. What I wanted to talk about is some innovative financial solutions that could potentially support recovery efforts of Ukraine. Let's maybe start with going through some of the challenges that Ukraine is currently facing in its recovery efforts. So first, maybe it's worth mentioning, is the uncertain demographic situation. As you are probably well aware of, as a result of war, more than 8 million people were actually displaced. Of course, the majority of them have already returned, but still the substantial part has not, and we are not sure if they ever will. So this obviously presents a challenge. Then we are also facing high unemployment rate. It is almost 21% in 2023. There are some infrastructure bottlenecks even before the war. Aging and deficient infrastructure stock was a challenge for Ukraine. And after the breakout of the full-scale Russian invasion, the situation has not improved. As a result of the war, Ukraine infrastructure is one of the smallest infrastructure market is one of the smallest in the region in terms of its value. And then there is also damage to energy infrastructure like power, gas, heating infrastructure, coal mining. So it adds up to almost 10 billion of losses as of March 2023. Market volatility is another challenge driven by political and economic volatility stemming from corruption, ambiguous incentive mechanisms, regulations, and also geopolitics. As a result of that, we face stagnated business activity. There are some, according to the assessments, almost half of the MSMEs has not returned yet to their pre-war operation volumes. Then there is also a low domestic demand and also accessibility of some advanced technology, restrictions on agricultural export, and also ban of grain sales in some of the neighboring countries that we are currently facing. But in addition to those hard challenges that we have to operate under, there are also soft challenges that could be addressed by, let's say, capacity building efforts. For example, there is, in terms of business competencies, there is a lack of financial literacy among entrepreneurs in general, and also lack of trained managerial personnel. We obviously see the insufficient knowledge in terms of financing instruments among MSMEs. There is a lack of capacity and also lack of awareness of the availability and the application process for the financing instrument. That are affordable for small-scale companies. And finally, I would also like to mention the lack of, let's say, comprehensive legal framework for impact investing. It is not in place as such. So what could be the possible solutions around the innovative financing that could help us address and overcome some of those challenges. They were already mentioned, at least the areas they belong to. They were already mentioned in Natalia's presentation. So indeed, those are two interconnected areas of blended finance and impact investing. Natalia has perfectly described and defined them, so I will not be repeating this information, just mention a couple of numbers. So in terms of blended finance, the aggregated blended finance flow has already totaled over 160 billion, and the annual inflow is approximately 9 billion, and it is at this level since almost 2015. However, the proportion of closed blended finance transactions in Europe and Central Asia reached only 4% in 2020. So this obviously indicates a lot of untapped potential. And with regards to impact investing, this is, as for now, rather small, but consistent group of investors in blended finance. They in the total number of blended finance transactions, they represent approximately 40% of commitments between 2018 and 2020. But also only 6% of the existing impact investing assets were channeled towards the region of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. We, as UNDP country office, has tried to look closer on the opportunities around the impact investments in Ukraine, and tried to examine the existing ecosystem for impact investing. What we try to do is we basically tried to overlap national SDG targets with some of the opportunity sectors. And this is how we came up with 6 priority industries or sectors. These are the results of pre-war analysis, but we believe it is still relevant. So those priority industries that are attractive for impact investments are as follows. Technology with a focus on IT industry and digital economy, then also infrastructure, renewable energy, healthcare, education, and agriculture. But then we decided to basically look at those sectors even closer, and we have applied a global tool that UNDP uses across the world to examine the opportunities for SDG-oriented investments. This is called SDG Investor Map. So it was produced for Ukraine, also before the breakout of the full-scale Russian invasion, but we also believe most of the results are still valid. So I will know it has this SDG investor map has identified 20 opportunity areas for advancing private sector progress towards SDGs. For the sake of time, I will of course not go through all those areas. You will have you could refer to this list if this is something of an interest for you, because the presentations will be shared. But basically, priority sectors, they are quite close to the results of our previous analysis of the impact investment ecosystem. So this would be a value chain around food and beverage. Then it is also infrastructure, renewable and alternative energy solution, transportation, and technology and communication. And I will conclude with mentioning some of the focus areas for financial products that could help us unlock access to blended finance, including impact investments during the crisis settings we currently operate in. So those solutions are structured around 4 priority areas, starting with mine action finance, because obviously this is one of the biggest challenges and barriers for agricultural sector. So offering financial solutions in this area could help unlock the land value and also support the recovery of the entire sector. Then obviously solutions around war insurance are very much needed and required for the country in the war, during the war. SME finance solution, and indeed, as Sergei has mentioned in his presentation, SMEs represent the backbone of Ukrainian economy. They are currently suffering from limited access to finance, from limited availability of collateral, and also they lack capacity to run their business in line with SDGs, which does not allow them basically to access those opportunities around SDG-driven and impact-oriented investments. And finally, well, the solutions around so-called multi-purpose finance are required because problem areas during the war situation could be complex, and various solutions, various needs should be addressed. I will not go into details of specific financial products in each of those 4 areas, but just mention that we are partnering and working closely with Ukrainian government, including Ministry of Economy, including Ukraine Invest, and we are developing specific products under each of those areas. We will be soon presenting them, communicating, promoting them, and hopefully also offering them, making them available to Ukrainian MSMEs. Thank you for your attention.